With the Memphis Grizzlies just trading away their third best player in Desmond Bane for about 5 first-round picks, it's basically certain that they're going to be in a rebuild mode. And with the New York Knicks losing the conference finals in 6 games to the Indiana Pacers, and them just recently firing their head coach Tom Thibodeau, who's done them pretty good so far in his career but was not the right fit, it seems like both these teams are looking for a change, just they're both going in a little bit different directions. But yeah, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. And before I get everything, make sure you guys like the video and subscribe like I always say. It helps me out so much. And yeah, let's get into this news. And also, make sure you guys check out my video from yesterday about Ja Morant. There's basically some hypotheticals and him possibly getting traded as well. And basically the whole Grizzlies just blowing everything up. So, make sure you guys check that video out too. It kind of gives you a little bit more information if you're curious about what the Grizzlies might possibly do in the future. And yeah, let's talk about Jaren Jackson now. So what sparked all this news was a tweet from NBA Central saying the New York Knicks reportedly view Jaren Jackson Jr. and Karl-Anthony Towns as a dream pairing. And the full quote reads, "Sources familiar with the situation tell Clutch Points that at least one key member of the Knicks front office has long been interested in Jaren Jackson Jr. as a trade target." The Knicks' acquisition of Karl-Anthony Towns last offseason didn't nullify this interest either. League sources say that a Jaren Jackson Jr. and Karl-Anthony Towns front court would be a dream pairing for the New York Knicks in their starting lineup. So what does this mean? Well, the Knicks are interested in Jaren Jackson Jr., the 2-time All-Star, the former Defensive Player of the Year. They're interested in him, and obviously the Knicks have had some defensive struggles, especially in the paint. They had some good wing defenders like OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart, but, they've had some bad paint defense, and someone like Jaren Jackson Jr. could, help with that a lot, as he's been a former DPOY and he's an all-defensive player this year as well. And obviously, we've seen rumors about the Knicks trying to get Giannis, and obviously that's going to be their priority, but if that can't happen, which is most likely not going to happen at all, Jaren Jackson Jr. could be a good plan B. And Jaren Jackson Jr. is a very unique player because he's a great rim-protecting big. He definitely can help Karl-Anthony Towns in that department, but also he's a really good shooter. And they had some lineups in the playoffs this year where they ran Mitchell Robinson at the 5, and obviously Mitchell Robinson is not the best offensive player, and he's not the best shooter ever. He doesn't shoot at all, actually. And so if you replace Mitchell Robinson with Jaren Jackson Jr., who have similar paint defense, because Jaren Jackson Jr. is debatably just as good as Mitchell Robinson in the paint, and then you also have Jaren Jackson shooting instead of Mitchell Robinson shooting, that can make the Knicks a whole different team. And looking at a mock trade that was from Yahoo Sports, basically the deal goes, New York receives Jaren Jackson Jr., obviously, and KCP. KCP was a part of the Desmond Bane trade, but you can reroute him there. And then they would get in return Mikal Bridges, Mitchell Robinson, Tyler Kolek, a point guard, a young guy, and 2 first-round picks. So yeah, this is basically what the structure would have to be, contract situation-wise. And obviously it might hurt the Knicks to lose Mikal Bridges because he's a big part of their team, a big part of their chemistry with Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson. But unless they would rather throw in OG Anunoby in that deal instead of Mikal Bridges and basically sacrifice some more defense, because you don't have that much defense right now in general. So if you want to sacrifice a little bit more defense to get Jaren Jackson Jr., you could, but I feel like Mikal Bridges might be the best option here. And you give up 2 first-round picks, but you're going to need to sacrifice if you want to win now. And then you basically give up Mitchell Robinson as well, but you're not going to really use him as much if you're going to get Jaren Jackson Jr. in return, right? So honestly, besides the chemistry issues that possibly could happen from trading away Mikal Bridges, I feel like this is a win-win for both sides. The Grizzlies, if they want to commit to a rebuild, would basically get first-round picks. They get a young point guard in Tyler Kolek. Obviously, you're taking a flyer on him. But you also get Mitchell Robinson. You get Mikal Bridges, who could be a nice pairing next to Ja Morant if you decide to keep him. Get some more defense and more scoring for the Grizzlies. And you get, 2 first-round picks, which could basically help your rebuild because you're going to have 5 from Desmond Bane and 2 more from Jaren Jackson Jr. So that's a total of 7, which is insane and could be very, very helpful if they want to commit to a rebuild. But even if you don't commit to a rebuild, those 7 first-round picks could help you a lot. Look at the Mavericks, man. They weren't really fully rebuilding at all, in my opinion, and they got Cooper Flagg. So if one of those first-round picks hits, the Suns are not going to be good. So like next year they have the Suns pick. If that first-round pick hits, you could get a generational talent. You might get lucky. That's just how the NBA works. To provide clarity on their mock trade, Yahoo also had to say this. They said, it was reported that the Grizzlies offered 4 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges before, and if he's paired with Ja Morant, they could have a formidable defense while having a ton of draft capital to add to another star-caliber player. It also goes on to mention how throwing in KCP could also sweeten the pot because he's making a lot of money right now, and basically they can get off that horrible contract, and he can also somewhat compete in the New York Knicks because obviously KCP isn't horrible, but that contract is nowhere near what he's worth, and them taking on that contract would basically help the Grizzlies out a lot. But I want to go back to that first paragraph that Yahoo was saying, how the Grizzlies offered 4 first-round picks in the past for Mikal Bridges. Obviously, I'm just assuming this is when Mikal Bridges was on the Nets and he was going off, but still, they definitely have some interest in Mikal Bridges next to John Morant. A lengthy guy, he can kind of play the Jaden McDaniels role, but for the Grizzlies, and he's obviously a better scorer than Jaden McDaniels, so, him next to John Morant could be very interesting. If they want to keep John Morant, Mikal Bridges could be a nice little pairing next to him. But yeah, man, that mock trade is basically the bones. They could definitely throw in more first-round picks, throw in less first-round picks, or throw in other young talent. It kind of is flexible there, but the main pieces would probably be Mikal Bridges for Jaren Jackson Jr., and also you'd probably throw in KCP. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think about this. Let me know if you guys think Jaren Jackson Jr. on the New York Knicks could be a good fit, or maybe you guys have other ideas. Maybe you guys think Jaren Jackson should stay, or if there's any other teams you have in mind. But yeah, let me know down below, all that stuff. Make sure you guys like the video and subscribe like I always say. It helps me out so much. And yeah, man, we out.